This is 7 p.m. in Babasi in the Ngokutunja Division, Northwest Region of Cameroon. Good evening and welcome to the 7 p.m. news. 1 year after the Tsumwa Massacre that claimed the lives of at least 21 civilians, including 10 children, 4 women, with 1 being pregnant, according to statistics from a BBC News, the governor of the Northwest Region of Cameroon, Lafrique, together with some administrative authorities, visited the scene of the incident with cash gifts to the families of the victims worth 80 million francs CFA. In a press release signed yesterday, Monday, February 15, 2021, Cameroonian Army Captain Cyril Serge Antofa Guemo acknowledges the involvement of 2 soldiers in the torture of an alleged Ambazonian. The facts took place on Thursday, February 11, 2021 in the locality of Ndu, Northwest Region of Cameroon. At least 4 people have died from Ebola in Guinea and 5 others have tested positive in the first possible resurgence of the disease since the outbreak in 2013. According to medical authorities, the victims fell ill with diarrhea, vomiting and bleeding, while some contracted the disease after attending a burial in the southeastern region of Zero Kore. Ladies and gentlemen, this is all for the headlines. Stay tuned for the news in full. Good evening once more. A year after the Tsumwa Massacre that claimed the lives of at least 21 civilians, according to BBC News, including 10 children, 4 women, with 1 being pregnant, statistics shows that the governor of the Northwest Region of Cameroon, that Lafrique, together with some administrative authorities, visited the scene of the incident with cash gifts to the families of victims worth 80 million francs CFA. 1 year on, and so far, what has become of the perpetrators, the locality, and of course the promises made by the Cameroon government? Attempted response in this report. On February 14 of 2020, a sad history was made in Gabu, in the town of Tsumwa, in Donga Mantung Division, Northwest Region of Cameroon. At least 21 persons were killed during a reconnaissance mission, which was authorized on February 12, 2020 by Major Nyangono Z. Charles Eric, commander of the 52nd Motorized Infantry Battalion in Kambe, and led by Sergeant Babangida, commander of the Tsumwa Joint Regime. Initially, no one claimed responsibility for the attack, while the separatists blamed government forces. The Cameroonian government admitted that the Cameroonian army had been responsible for the death and claimed civilians were killed by an accidental explosion that had been triggered when stray bullets had hit the fuel tank during a firefight with separatist fighters. While civilians denied these claims, pressure was mounted by national and international human rights organizations for the Cameroonian government to investigate this barbaric incident. The Cameroon head of state, Paul Biya, then ordered an inquiry through the creation of an inquiry commission, which comprised of army and gendarmerie officers placed under the authority of the Secretary of State at the Ministry of Defense, in charge of the National Gendarmerie and chaired by a military, judicial and legal officer. The commission of inquiry later discovered that the team which carried out the February 14 strategy, led by Sergeant Babangida, launched an attack based on information provided by a repentant terrorist in the area. According to the commission, following an exchange of gunfire during which 5 terrorists were killed and many weapons seized, and also 3 women and 10 children lost their lives, the team tried to conceal the fact by causing fire. After the act, Sergeant Babangida was later accused of failing to control his troops during the operation, ordering the burning down of houses and producing a false report in an effort to cover up his tracks. After this incident, the Cameroon head of state, Paul Biya, had ordered the exhumption of the corpses of the victims in order to give them a befitting burial, and also the creation of a military base in Gabu for better security. During Lafrique's visit, he had asked the population of the region to state their readiness so that the corpses can be exhumed and given a befitting burial, as the head of state demanded. Even though the government had stated that Sergeant Babangida, Gendarme Sangin Cyril, and Private First Class Haranga Gilbert were already at the Yaoundé Military Tribunal with 10 other members of the Vigilante Committee who assisted the team to launch the attack being tracked down. Only 3 of the 23 suspects have appeared in court so far. The first case was heard on December 17, 2020, but was adjourned to January 2021 and later adjourned to February 18 of 2021. The world is waiting for justice to be served. In a press release signed yesterday, February 15, 2021, Cameroonian Army Captain Cyril Sech Antofa Nguemo acknowledges the involvement of 2 soldiers in the torture of an alleged Ambazonian. The fact took place on Thursday, February 11, 2021, in the locality of Ndou, northwest region of Cameroon. This report tells us more. After the publication of an amateur video on social media on Saturday, February 13, 2021, presenting a man questioned, then abused and beaten by elements of the Defense and Security Forces, the Defense Ministry released a press release on Monday, February 15, 2021, to be indignant at the attitude of his men. The scene took place on Thursday, February 11, 2021, in the locality of Ndou, Donga Mountain Division, northwest region of Cameroon, one of the regions plagued by the secessionist crisis for nearly 4 years. In the said statement signed by the spokesperson of the Cameroonian Army, Captain Cyril Sech Antofa Nguemo, the army acknowledges the involvement of some of its elements in this act of torture of an alleged Ambazonian. He also declared that it was easy for the command to identify the elements of the Defense and Security Forces compromised in this unacceptable act. There are currently 2 gendarmes, 2 soldiers, and 4 policemen. Moreover, the first investigations carried out led to the identification of the victim, Jean Fei Fungong, suspected of being a local criminal and terrorist, the press release read. It is underlined below that these identified elements were immediately arrested at the Territorial Brigade of the Ndou Gendarmerie on the instructions of the Minister Delegate to the Presidency in charge of Defense, Joseph Beti Asomo. According to the information made public by the Ministry of Defense, the disciplinary, administrative, and judicial investigations prescribed by the High Command and opened by the local administrative authorities and the Defense and Security Forces will make it possible to clarify the outline of these intolerable actions, breaking with, on the one hand, respect for the rules of engagement, and on the other hand, the protection of human rights, cardinal principles to which the elements of the Defense and Security Forces are firmly bound. It should be remembered that the Cameroonian Army had also recognized the involvement of soldiers in the Tsumwa Massacre, which claimed the lives of several people in the northwest region of Cameroon on February 14, 2020. According to the head of the Coordination Officer for Humanitarian Affairs of the United Nations, at the time of the fact, the toll showed at least 22 deaths, including 14 children. A report confirmed by several non-governmental organizations such as Human Rights Watch. According to Jeune Afrique, in an article published on April 22, 2020, the conclusions of the investigations made public on April 21, 2020 through a press release from the Presidency of the Republic overwhelmed the battalion commander Nyangono Z. Charles Eric, commander of the 52nd Battalion of Motorized Infantry, Sergeant Babangida, designated as the organizer of the drama, Constable Sandin Cyril, and Private First Class Haranga Gilbert. Forced job recruitments are becoming a daily routine in Cameroon. Despite, of course, the caution being given to job seekers daily, many still fall in the hands of these scammers. But of course, are the institutions whose images are being tarnished to be blamed or the victims? Listen to this report. The circulation of forced recruitment adverts is not new in Cameroon, but rather gaining momentum. With a percentage ranging between 3.8% and 4%, young people aged 15 to 35 are unemployed, and nearly 70% of the population would find themselves in underemployment with wages below the guaranteed minimum interprofessional wage of 36,500 francs CFA, according to figures provided in 2016 by the National Institute of Statistics. A situation which pushes these false structures to create false recruitment with enormous salaries. With the advent of social media increasingly used in the country without much user attention, scammers are finding a flourishing breeding ground. The difference is that the contacts are done virtually and then they demand for money after a few exchanges. While serious recruiters usually invite job seekers somewhere, especially in an office, these fake imposters never let you meet them. The development of electronic payment methods has also made it easier for them. The preferred services are Orange Money and MTN Mobile Money, and others also feel free to request payment for services through an Express Union money order or any other money transfer office. The custom does not hesitate, however, because he is in confidence. In addition, WhatsApp groups are indeed created and integrated with these alleged victims. These groups allow the distribution of bogus contacts to applicants. One of the best points is the very large number of positions offered in a recruitment advertisement, sometimes reaching 300 to 400 offers. The most insensitive is the staggering salary. For a secretary position, for example, bogus recruiters offers 200,000 francs CFA, something extremely rare in the Cameroonian context. So confident and hopeful, job seekers let themselves be taken, and thereafter will never be hired. Hence, the question, is the government fighting a battle to end these scams? We remember that on February 7 of 2018, a vast recruitment was announced within the National Refinery Company. The company had to deny this false recruitment through announcements of recruitment in Cameroon and even in the bakeries of Santa Lucia, which turned out to be all fake. Added to these denials, several awareness-raising meetings in the face of this mode of fraud or cybercrime are organized in Cameroon. This in order to awaken the population, while the Minister of Civil Service and Administrative Reform always informs the public to be more vigilant about the announcement of the web. It should be remembered that this phenomena is not limited only to recruitment announcements, but goes further in communiques, decrees and others. Just to note, caution must be taken on all social networks. Zimbabwe has received its first batch of 200,000 doses of a Sinopharm donated by the Chinese government in the fight against the coronavirus pandemic. The vaccine was received on Monday at the Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport in the capital city of Harare. The Chinese coronavirus vaccine was donated by the East Asian nations government, while another batch of 600,000 doses purchased by Zimbabwe is expected to arrive early next month. This shipment from China comes after prior vaccine doses deliveries to Egypt and Equatorial Guinea. Vaccination priority will be given to frontline workers such as healthcare professionals and immigration agents working at borders, according to the rollout plan in Zimbabwe, which as of Sunday reported 35,104 COVID-19 cases and almost 1,398 deaths. Many more doses beyond the first batch of 200,000 will be necessary to achieve herd immunity in Zimbabwe, as 60% of its population, equivalent to 10 million people, need to be vaccinated. At least 3 people have died from Ebola in Guinea, and 5 others have tested positive in the first possible resurgence of the disease since the outbreak in 2013. According to medical authorities, the victims fell ill with diarrhea, vomiting and bleeding. Some of them contracted the disease after attending a burial in the southeastern region of Zerokore. According to Sakop Keita, head of Guinea's health agency, the country was in the midst of an Ebola resurgence, an epidemic situation with a total of 7 cases, including 3 deaths. Of the 7, 4 were noted to be men and 3 women. 3 were isolated, 1 in Conakry and 2 in Zerokore. Between 2013 and 2016, more than 11,000 people died in the West African Ebola epidemic, which began in Guinea. The World Health Organization's Africa Director, Michidusu Moeti, stated in a tweet she was very concerned and is ramping up readiness and response efforts for Guinea. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your kind attention. It has been essential African information from this end. Remember, up next is Le Journal de 20h. Stay tuned and have a blessed evening.